Surviving the holidays with your extended family isn't impossible. It just takes a plan. So stick around if you want to learn how to handle family situations during the holidays like a pro. Now we're talking about family.
Ooh.
Okay.
Family in the holidays.
What's better?
What's better?
Okay, so how do you handle your families in the holidays? We're going to run through this pretty quick. The first thing you need to do is set boundaries.
Absolutely.
Set some freaking boundaries.
Yeah.
Lock the doors. That's the boundaries.
That's the boundary.
Listen, so when it comes to it, one, you have to understand that when it comes to your marriage or your family, if you have kids, you're the one that's responsible for your family and your in-laws and the uncles and the brother-in-law and the sister-in-law and the outlaws and everybody. They don't care about how you're trying to shape your family. You have to protect that. That's on you to do. And so what kind of boundaries do you have, especially when you know there's somebody at the Christmas party, the get together, that they start talking about something and they start going off the deep end.
And we're out.
You know?
I'm out.
So we have somebody from the church. She was telling us that her mom, this is so strange, is really
She really likes conspiracy theories.
Yes. And a conspiracy theory that if you have O-type blood, is that what it was?
O positive.
That it is connected to alien DNA.
Yep.
And so her name's Karina. It's not the one who, it's not the one who's crazy like that. This is the daughter. She said, she's like, once my mom starts talking about alien DNA, I'm gone. She just
That's
knows.
the boundary.
It's going to start going over. Now, that's lighthearted and that's funny. Maybe the boundary is, okay, when they bring out the alcohol.
Right. You know what? It never ends good. If your family brings out liquor, whatever, your family might be fine with it. A couple glasses of wine, no big deal. Great. But for some of you, you know that there are certain family members that once they start drinking, it's over.
Crazy Uncle Eddie.
Crazy Uncle Eddie. It is your responsibility to protect you and your family.
That's it.
And so that might be your boundary.
Yep.
Like, hey, they're fine when they don't drink, but as soon as that starts to come up, done. I'm out.
And here's the thing too, maybe you don't have kids because you really want to obviously protect your kids from that. But what about even your spouse? Like protecting my wife from when somebody's having one too many to drink and they're making comments to her or disrespectful or being sarcastic, trying to make a joke.
Yeah.
Like men, you got to stick up for your wife.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter who it is.
If your wife feels uncomfortable, you better protect her.
100%. 100%. And too many times it's just a funny thing. It's what guys do. No. You don't talk to my wife like that. She's the queen of my life and you do not disrespect her.
Yeah.
And so you just have to set up boundaries. And what does that look like? And you have to be the one to enforce those boundaries. Because guess what? Guess what we don't like to do? We don't want to enforce the law. That's why you were speeding today. But you know who enforces the law? The cop that was behind you and pulls you over and gives you a ticket. See, you are not responsible. I'm not responsible.
Yeah.
We have to make sure, though, we are reflecting on that and knowing okay, I usually let 1 thing, 2, 3, 4, 5 things slide.
Yeah.
We can't let it slide.
No.
Especially because there's that family member that you'll let it slide and they just you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Absolutely. We've had conversations with family members who, when they come into our house, I can't tell you what to do in your own house or in your own space or whatever you do. I can't tell you what to do. But in my house, if you're having Christmas at your house, we've had to have a conversation where they were very disrespectful to another family member. Mm-hmm. And we had to say, not in my house. I do care about the feelings that are happening. If you guys need help, if you guys need, therapy or whatever it is to talk it out, you need to go do that. But in my house, right, that will not happen. Right. That will not be an example to my children. I will not be around it. Yep. And those are the kind of hard conversations. And here's the thing. People will get upset and not come. And guess what? That's okay.
Yeah.
Because just because somebody is blood related to you does not give them the authority to just live whatever way they want around you and your family. That's not okay. Mm-hmm. And so we have to set boundaries for us in our house.
Yep. Now, here's the thing. Things aren't always going to go according to plan.
No.
And so you have to make a plan what you're going to do when things don't go according to plan. Mm-hmm. Because if you think, oh, hey, we're going to a party and it's going to be a dry party, and all of a sudden there's a keg there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many people are bringing a keg to a Christmas party, but bear with me for the illustration.
You never know.
You have to be prepared to be like, all right, kids, you know what? We had a good time. Or, hey, honey, you know what? I see this. And maybe, think about this. Everybody else is fine with alcohol, but it's you that can't handle it. So you have to protect yourself and your spouse, and you have to back away.
Yep.
You have to back away. Okay. Decide together how you're going to split time between the families. I've heard some people that do this way. Let me back up. When you are just utterly exhausted from going to multiple Christmas parties in a day and you didn't even have fun, that's your own fault. Because you didn't have to go. So I've heard of families that are like, hey, we're going to celebrate with this side this year and this side this year. Instead of, okay, we're hitting with this mom and then there's a divorce. So then we have to hit with this dad. And then we have these in-laws. And then we're invited to the cousin's party because they don't get involved. They don't, hang out with this side anymore. So we got to do like, that's so exhausting. So exhausting. You don't have to do that. You can say, okay, we're just going to do this one party, or we're just having Christmas at our house. And that's okay. Our first Christmas we spent alone. Mm-hmm. Like we got married. We're like, we don't want to run around to all these different houses and stuff. We're doing Christmas morning as a married couple, brand new together with each other. Mm-hmm. And it's still like, now our family, it worked out pretty well. They all like each other, both sides. So we would end up having Christmases and parties and stuff.
Just like one.
Just one big one.
Yeah. I want to talk about the elephant in the room.
Oh, what is it?
It's you. I'm just kidding. Is that there are family members in your life that are very narcissistic. And when that happens, there is no middle ground for them. There is no talking sense into them. There is no meet in the middle. A narcissist will manipulate until they get only their way. Mm-hmm. Okay? And there is no way for you to change that. And so when it comes to holidays with someone who is a narcissist, this is all they have. Because their behavior is not tolerated the other 364 days a year. And so this is the only thing that they have to hold on to. And if you didn't know you had a narcissist in the family, if I am describing somebody in your family like this, they are narcissistic. And so what you have to do is, like we're talking about, setting boundaries that are healthy for your family and not allowing them to manipulate you and your family to do X, Y, and Z so that they get their way. And now, a normal person, this is how I am trying to build my family, is that if something happens, when my girls get married, and when Alice gets married, my son, and they say, oh, my in-laws live on the East Coast this year, we want to go spend time with them. You know what? That's wonderful. Go spend time with them, because you know what? Let's have dinner next week on Tuesday. Or we had dinner last week like 3 times together. Mm-hmm. Go hang out with them. That is what a healthy family looks like. A narcissistic family or a narcissistic person will go from holiday to holiday to holiday because it's all they have. Mm-hmm. Because nobody wants to spend dinner with them on a Tuesday randomly. So they are like tooth and nail trying to get this perfect setting of Christmas and what it's supposed to be like, and because it's all they have. Yep. Do not bow your knee and do not move your boundaries for the sake of your spouse, your marriage, and your children based on this narcissistic person, and that could be anybody in your family.
I like that. Something I want to hit on too, talking about this, is making sure that when you are with a narcissist, when you are with people that just don't reflect the love of Jesus, that just, it's just a bad day for them, right? Maybe they're even Christians. It's just a bad day. As Christians, we have to give grace to people. Like, learn, especially in the Christmas season, to give grace to people. It's like we just did a sermon about the Grinch and his attitude that he has. But he was going through something that was hurt from his past. And so you might even begin around a family, a friend, someone this Christmas season, you're like, gosh, their attitude. And they might just have something that's really hurting them on the inside. And don't project onto them why you think they're acting the way they're acting. Find out. You know, we talked about this, like, ask them how you're doing, right? And everyone always says, I'm good, I'm fine. But say, like, no, really, how are you doing? Hear what's going on. Maybe they're going through something hard in their marriage. Maybe they just lost a bunch of money. Maybe they're potentially getting fired. Maybe they have a child that's acting up, whatever it is. So giving grace and knowing where people are at this Christmas season.